So first off, what is up, everybody? Hope y'all doing well today. Last week we had a very extreme week where Bybit obviously got hacked. Which resulted in price going lower. In my opinion, it was already in the charts, which I will explain today on why I think there was a really good shorting opportunity. I'm also going to be covering why I think Bitcoin needs to hold a certain level to avoid a much deeper flush into 85k. I think it's hanging there, right? We're still trading at support, but buyers really need to step up their game to avoid that bigger flush into 85k. So there's that. We're going to be taking a look at TPO as usual, Vwap, price action trades. Then we're summing it all down at the end of the stream with the trade hypos for the week ahead. So any questions, write them down in the chat and I'll make sure to cover them at the end of the stream. All right. Also, and if you hear my voice getting a little bit cracky or whatever, it's because I was sick last week. So bear with me. First things first, TPO. What are we going to be looking at? For those of you who are new, this is my layout. We've got a daily TPO profiles. We've got a weekly layout, and we've got a monthly layout, and here are the composites. I think, listen, the most important takeaway here is if we let's quickly enlarge this image. Look at this. We are trading, guys, we are trading within a 21-day composite. That's insane. I haven't seen a 21-day composite on Bitcoin in ages. And look at how clean the interactions are. We could, you could have just shorted value area high, longed value area low for 21 days straight, and you'd be outperforming 99% of the traders, right? So I think that's the most important takeaway here, is that we are trading within a 21-day composite. If we zoom in, let's go back towards the regular chart right here. If we zoom in here, I think the other important takeaway here is that we have a naked point of control at 98,230. I want to be aware of that. It is confluent with the 21-day value area high, so I'm not going to be putting that within my charts. I want to avoid cluttering it too much, but I do know that Bitcoin does has a reason to go higher to clean up this inefficiency. What else? We had a poor low from yesterday. Now, Saturdays, are they really that important? In my opinion, not so much, but I'll take it into account that we just cleaned up a anomaly into the 21-day composite value area low at 95.6-ish. That is why we're currently seeing buyers stepping in, because it's still higher time frame support. Other than that, we have a 8-week composite right here. This is 8 weeks merged together. Value area high, resistance, value area low, support. The Gandalf tweet, right, was based on the 8-week value area low. I got a huge amount of DMs like, how did you know that we would be finding the actual low there? Well, it was based on the previous 8 weeks merged together, value area low extended throughout time. This is where we tagged the line, and then we saw a reversion back into an anomaly in the form of a naked value area high from 1-2 weeks ago. Besides that, I think those are the only important takeaways here. What I do want to mention here is that if we quickly take a look at this chart here, these are the 21 days merged together. Make no mistake, if Bitcoin does find a genuine break below value, for example, that's going to be the trend for a while. Now, we're probably going to go way lower than most think, because during these consolidations, everybody's getting programmed on shorting value area high, on shorting the extreme of value. If you're not a TPO trader, but you're a price action trader, right? We have the range. This is the range high, range low. Everybody is conditioned right now to short range high and long range low. Everybody is like, well, if we go towards range high one more time, I'm shorting it full size, right? Or if we go towards the lows one more time, I'm longing it full size. And that is usually the case where, or at that point in time, Bitcoin does break away from value. And that's where you got all these stubborn traders shorting it all the way up until what, 100k or whatever, or 120, or even up until all-time high, because they are conditioned to short the value area high, right? So that's very important. Now, if we take everything and we go towards, I've put everything here on the chart that's important, but first let's take a look at Vwap as well, because Vwap rejected at right here to the tick, the previous quarter value area high. So essentially what this means is that the previous quarterly value area high, once we broke above, this should have held as support. It did that 2 times, then it broke backward in value, which is usually an indication that we're going to be getting a reversion lower. And that is why I've got 85K on my charts, because if I scrunch this up a bit more, we can see previous quarterly VWAP here. It's around roughly 86K. So from a pure higher time frame perspective, as long as Bitcoin is unable to accept back above 100K-ish big figure here, right? We can see it. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Bitcoin is unable to accept above. And unless we really start to form value back above that previous quarterly value high, then by all means, sure, I'll be adding more to my spot. And I think we're going to be going towards the fair value gap there, equal highs there, and potentially even all-time high. But until then, 100K, this is why I tweeted that. When was the Bybit hack? I tweeted about 100K being the area where you really need to be defensive on your portfolio, because it's the bearish line in the sand for a reason. And then 1-2 hours after, we got the Bybit hack, right? So everybody was like, oh, Bybit caused the break lower. No, it's from a trending perspective, 100K or 98K is going to be one big ass resistance. And I'll show you that in a bit. But as long as we trade below, this could occur. Just keep an open mind. I'm not saying that we're doing it, but just be mindful that, hey, we're really accepting backward in quarterly value. So unless Bitcoin can show us that we're getting back above 100K, things are starting to look pretty shit. Then we're moving towards the monthly. Now, in this case, it is not a single month value, because what I did here is, if we quickly take a look at this, we can see that we had, let's scrunch this up again. I'm doing the same thing with Vwap. Like, I don't think you'll see other people than myself doing it, but, you know, unless the guys that are with me in Discord, but I tend to treat Vwap as TPO as well. So if I have overlapping value on Vwap, for example, right here, we've got monthly Vwap, then we've got a standard deviation there, and then this standard deviation is overlapping with the previous, with this standard deviation. So that means to me that we've got a 2-month composite based on Vwap. And at that point, we can add those months together, which will give us a 2-month composite based on Vwap. Now, let's take a look how that looks. This is the, look, right? Starting time, it is December 1. Starting time, December 1. And then the end time of this is February 1, because we're currently within this month. Now, if this month closes back within that current composite, I'm adding it as well, right? Which will give me a 3-month composite. But until then, these are the levels. So let's take a look. How do we react at the 2-month composite, value area low, point of control, and so on? Let's zoom in. Pretty clean, right? Support. Resistance. Again, to the tick. Everybody get extremely bullish here. Oh no, we got a Bybit hack. No, from a trend following system, we've got the 30-day rolling VWAP. We've got the 90-day rolling VWAP here, right? There's a fuck ton of resistance up here. That is why we're getting a rejection. Do you think SPX nukes 1 or 2% because Bybit got hacked? No, it's just, it is already in the charts, all right? So that being said, the only reason why I'm not overly bearish here is because this is one of, you know, the more known trade setups within crypto, where we form an initial low, we sweep that low, right? The ICT traders among us, big beefy down close candle, market structure break, we swept the previous low, right? We, you know, the reason why we're capping it up here is because we've got a fair value gap. So this is support until proven otherwise. So on an, I need to say this carefully, or I don't want you guys to long this right away, full portfolio or whatever, but as long as this level holds the support, we can have a slightly bullish undertone heading into next week. We could even sweep this low, but as long as we close back above it, then that would have been bullish in my opinion. And it's also confluent with the 21-day composite value low. So this is a genuine support, all right? Moving towards the weekly, you know, pretty clean rotations here as well, where initially, you know, Bybit hack, yada, yada, yada. Buyer stepped in at the previous week value high. Then we saw acceptance back within, rotated all the way down towards the opposite extreme right there. Acceptance back within value, rejection at the VWAP, where do we go? Value area low, and that's why we're currently doing a whole lot of nothing. So to summarize this, right, let's go back towards the regular chart. Obviously, last week was pretty hectic with Bybit being hacked for 1.5 billion. But prior to that, we tweeted already that you should be very defensive at 100K, as this is just, let me just show you, rolling VWAP here, right? The 90-day, 30-day, this is just from a trend following. Everybody that uses a trend following system, they know that they need to be defensive at around the 30 and the 90-day rolling VWAP. That's it. That's why we reject it. So that remains huge resistance in the form of those multiple rolling VWAPs. And then we've got the 2-month point of control. We've got previous quarterly value high and so on. We just got a shit ton of resistance up here. So that being said, Bitcoin is pinched between, let's go towards an H4 real quick. Bitcoin is pinched between the 21-day value area high and the 21-day value area low. There's a whole lot of other levels in between, but for the sake of simplicity heading into next week, I think these are the areas that we want to be focusing on. So is everything clear so far in regards to what we covered with TPO and VWAP? Let me know in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll go over if we have some questions. Does this range apply your concept of when we break this, we go for a while? Yeah, 100%. That is why, I mean, usually when Bitcoin forms like a 5-day composite, let me just quickly draw it out for you guys. So usually when Bitcoin forms a 5-day composite, 5-day and up, so 5-day plus, everybody is conditioned to short value area high and short value area low. The reason why this works is that when we do eventually get a genuine break in value, now you might ask me what's a genuine break in value? It's when we've got enough time and space between that retest, when there's enough room here on the 30-minute time frame or 4-hour, whatever, but it's not necessarily only a 30-minute candle close. So when we get that, everybody is considered or conditioned to short this, but that's usually when someone is absorbing it here at the value area high, then we start creeping upwards and everybody continues to short and they are continue to getting squeezed. That is why a break from a prolonged consolidation that we're currently seeing is usually going to be the trend for a while. And the same goes for when we're accepting back below, right? All right. Election VWAP as well. Oh, that's nice. I haven't had that on my charts. Is it right at the high here as well? Election VWAP is a good point. I saw Stowe tweet about that, the election VWAP. Pretty good stuff. So that brings me towards the trade setups heading into next week. And I think it's going to be pretty simplistic here. And if I were to draw this out, similar to what I said right here, in terms of longs, where am I willing to look for longs? Well, first, let's take a look at what is my bullish invalidation and what is my bearish invalidation. Short term, the 21-day composite value area low is my bullish invalidation. Higher time frame, right? We should not see any close back below the 8-week. We could do this, then reclaim it once again, and I'll be looking for longs again, right? But on a higher time frame perspective, I don't want to see 4-hour candle closes below the 8-week value area low, because that will really indicate like a genuine break below the 21-day, a break back within the 8-week composite. And at that point, I think it is safe to assume that we might just be sweeping this low into the previous quarterly VWAP around 85, right? If we take a look on this from a daily perspective, you know, this is not usually the structure where I'm like, well, this is continuation, guys. No, this is usually a structure where I'm like, wait a minute, let's take a look at this and let's go back. Let's go back. Do you see the resemblance between this structure here? Sweep high, right? Then we dick around here. It's just, it's feeling a bit where I'm like, this might just roll over back into 85s. But until then, we're going to be treating everything as, you know, as is. So that means for longs heading into next week, we could even do this, sweep it, then reclaim it. But as long as this H4 order block at the 8-week value area low holds its support, and then we're getting a close back within the 21-day composite value area low, right? That to me is confirmation for at least a long back into the value area high. Now, if we do this and we start to trade back at the 21-day again, I'm like, all right, taking profits. and I'll, let's say that I take 60 or 70% profits, and I will wait for the market to show me like, hey, we're strong. We can really break back above the 8-week value high. And then we try to break back within, fail to do so. Perfect. That's along towards this gap, at least. And then potentially this high. But we'll take it as is, right? We are going to be reacting on what the market is telling us. I'm not going to be predicting shit because I just want to know the market needs to tell me like, okay, we're accepting back within value or not. All right. So that's the main case for longs. In terms of shorts, if we were to leave these lows like that and we start to trade back towards the highs again, we sweep it like that, resistance, I'll take a short and I'm going to be targeting value low again, right? In an event where we do this and then we break back within, bearish as well. So let's, just let the market tell you like, is it genuinely accepting outside of value or not? And that's going to be, those are the best trades that you could be taking from this point on. Don't diddle in the middle. There's no real, quality trade in my opinion in the middle of this bracket. Wait for a genuine break above or below, and that's it for this week. Is that clear for everybody? Pretty straight to the point. We've covered Vwap, right? TPO, rolling Vwap, the trade setups for the upcoming week. Are there any questions? Hourly chart. I mean, it's kind of looking like, I don't know, man. If this was a lower time frame range, for example, this range low, range high, right? Sweep it. Then show me the conviction back within the composite. Long it towards a sweep of the high into the 21-day composite value high. Conversely, if we do this, sweep it, get back below the high, intraday short, back towards the lows, into the value area low there. And that's it. If there are no further questions regarding everything that we've just covered, I would like to thank everybody for their time. And I think it will be good to do a midweek stream as well, where we can go over some of the altcoins and Ethereum. And yeah. Let me just see. Wait a minute. The chat wasn't loading, so I haven't seen all of the questions. Quarterly Vwap is king. Yeah. How can we join your Discord? I believe it's on my Twitter, or otherwise you just need to go to the website right here, primetrading.ai, and you'll see everything that we have. That's how you can join the Discord. I thought we used rolling Vwaps in trading environment on 21-day range bound market, but it did bounce off 90 days. Yeah, but if we're taking a look at this from, let's open up the rolling Vwap here. Damn, the yearly rolling Vwap is 70k. That would be bad, bro. Let's not focus on that. High drawings. So if you are referring to we're only using it in a trending environment, sure. However, take a look on this from a daily perspective. And let's quickly remove the yeah, it is this one. December day, 30 day. All right. So this is the trend. We broke above the 90-day rolling VWAP support. That was the auction higher, right? Towards new highs. This is the first time where we actually, like, this should have just held right there. That spike, that should have just held a support, to be honest. And now we're, we can't reclaim it. Now that's bearish. And if I were only, let's say that I was trading this on intraday on a 5-minute chart with a hourly VWAP or whatever, I'd say resistance support, right? But that would be, let's just not think about that, because that would be bad, because everybody is overexposed in altcoins and they're already, I mean, the timeline is horrendous. Bitcoin is at 95K and I'm like, bro, what are you complaining about? We're trading at 95, man. So that's like, Genuinely bad in my opinion. All right, if that's it, guys, I would like to thank everybody for their time. Just a sweet short stream, and I will catch you guys midweek again for another stream. Again, thanks for attending the stream, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.